seconds of your time.
I'm in the middle of something, mate, now.
Okay, I won't keep it long then, I'll just be 2 seconds.
I'm filming an intro for my YouTube channel. I don't know if you'd know. It'll be 2 minutes.
Oh, well, okay, this won't take long. It won't take long.
Mate, I'm busy, right? I'm sorry, I'm busy, right? Jesus. I can't remember what I was going to do. Hello everybody, welcome back to Cm42TV. We're here on this beautiful day. What a beautiful summer we're having. However, if you're a hay fever sufferer like myself, you are struggling dearly, and I can feel your pain. I'm reaching out and I can feel your pain. Oh my God! So bad this year. Can hardly breathe. The reason I'm doing this, I was thinking, why am I doing this video? The reason is, I'm leaving the country in a matter of days. Not forever, I'm going for 2 weeks. I'm going to the US and A. Hello US and A! Very excited! I'm going to Florida, Orlando, for 2 weeks, so that's going to be great. Hopefully, if all goes to plan, I'll be able to do some videos over there and can, you know, post some videos live from the villa. Maybe not live, but you know, from the villa, which will be great. We'll do all the tourist attractions, Disney, Universal, all the malls. I want to go to Hot Topic, try and get a Young Bucks t-shirt or something along those lines. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing the next 2 weeks. So all the videos that will be coming out are you know, backlogged or whatever. I've got some done, ready to go, and plus any ones I do in Florida. So stay tuned for them if that happens. And excuse my horrible hay fever sufferings just now, because it was terribly bad this year. This is a video that I've never done before at this point of the year. I always do this video in December or January or February when it should be done, and that's the top 10 films of the year. However, we're in June, right? When on recording date we're in June, and nearly finished June anyway. And this is my top 10 films of 2018 so far. You know, we've seen so many great films up until this point. Let's do a top 10 just now, and let's compare that top 10 to the top 10 at the end of the year to see how drastically it's changed or not changed, depending on, you know, what we see for the rest of the year and stuff. I've seen some great films this year, and as of June 2018, the first 6 months of the year, here are my top 10 films so far. Number 10 is Molly's Game, directed by Aaron Sorkin, and starring Idris Elba and Jessica Chastain. Very nice. How much? That's the second Borat reference in this video so far, for good reason. I don't want to, you know, here's the thing with this video, and all top 10s in general, you know, you're repeating yourself constantly. Oh, this film's amazing, this film is great, or whatever. I don't want to try to say the same thing about everything. And then also, I'm kind of recommending these films to you, aren't I? Like, these are the 10 best I've seen this year. You should try and see before the end of the year, or whatever, you know. So don't want to give away too much. But Molly's Game is a sort of sleeper because it was the first film that I saw this year. It came out very early in the year. First film that I reviewed this year as well. So if you want a full depth review, if you want to think about watching it or whatever, or what I thought of the film, go check that out. It's in the Cinema Club playlist. It was the first one I watched this year. Molly's Game was a belter of a film. It's this absolute sleeper. No one's gonna remember this one at the end of the year, sadly, because it is a great film. Aaron Sorkin, a great writer. It's about gambling. Jessica Chastain gathers all the sort of richest people and highest gamblers, highest bidders on things from around the country into this big penthouse suite for a massive money game, and it's gripping. It's tense. It's really good. It's a really fun film. It's something a bit different, gambling, money, that sort of thing, money laundering, that sort of thing. Great film, recommended massively, and that's Molly's Game at number 10. Number 9, we have Deadpool 2, the sequel to Deadpool, obviously. Earlier on this year, I sat on this very sofa and I talked about re-watching Deadpool and how my opinions on the film changed over time. The first time I saw that film, I loved it more than a lot of films that year, 2016 I think. Then the second time I watched it on Blu-ray, or when I've got a Blu-ray and watched it for the second time, I didn't like it at all. I was like, this isn't as good as I remember whatsoever. And that really hinders your opinion on a film. If you love it and you watch it and it's not as good as you remember, you kind of go, oh, that's a shame. But then the third time I watched it, in terms of, I'm going to go see the second one, let's watch it and get back in the mood, I loved it again. So it's one of those ones, depending on the mood you're in, if you're suffering from hay fever and pollen, like I am now, will sort of hinder your enjoyment of the film. But the second one, in my opinion, is better than the first one. I enjoy it better than... Well, again, that's the thing. I've seen it once, you know. Maybe when I get it on Blu-ray, I'll watch it again. I won't. But as of right now, I like the second one better. I think Ryan Reynolds is fantastic in it. I think he's better in this than the first one, maybe just because the character's more defined now or whatever. He's got a better idea of what he wants to do, you know, for the character or whatever. All the other characters that we kind of remember are more developed. Plus, there's new ones that are great. Dynamo, is that her name? The girl. She was awesome. Loads of good fight sequences here. It's funnier than the first one. There's better references in the first one. The post-credit scene is my favourite post-credit scene in Marvel history. So good, and I highly recommend this sequel that you go and check out, and it's a good way to kind of get into watching both Deadpool films. Here's your excuse, the new one just came out, watch both of them. Number 8 is another sleeper that I guarantee most folk have not seen. It's a film by the name of On Chesil Beach, starring Saoirse Ronan. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was fantastic as well. This is a British film, and it's one of those ones that's suffering from massive conglomerate cinemas, showing bigger films over smaller films, and for obvious reasons, you know, makes more money. You know, these smaller films aren't as popular as the bigger films, of course, why would they be? However, this film is absolutely astounding. On Chesil Beach, it's called. It's a British film. Saoirse Ronan, who is fastly becoming one of my favourite actresses, if not my favourite currently, you know. She's amazing, she's beautiful, she's awesome, you know, to watch on screen and stuff, and she's got this energy that just is ridiculous. You can't take your eyes off her. But anyway, this film is about a couple who meet through going to college and stuff and end up getting married. No spoilers there, because it happens at the start of the film, I suppose. And it's all about their first sexual experience and how, you know, their first experience getting intimate together really affects the rest of their relationship. And it jumps about a lot in terms of going back, telling the story. You know, don't tell me, show me, you know. It shows you how they met, it shows you how they had their first kiss, shows you how, you know, they get married and stuff up until their first, you know, intimate sexual experience together as a young couple, which is always going to be awkward, you know. And then something happens, this big blow up happens, past events come back, and then we jump forward and we see them in the future, and it is just, oh my god, this film, so powerful, so impactful. It's an absolute belter, and hardly anybody's going to see it, which is a disaster and such a shame, because it is an absolute belter of a film. On Chesil Beach is my number 8. Number 7 is Black Panther, the second Marvel film on the list. Will it be the last one? I don't know. What an awesome way to get Black Panther kick-started right into the MCU, and just to mean so much, just as much as Iron Man, just as much as Captain America, just as much as whoever. You know, that he's got his own film now, Black Panther, and he is just so awesome, so funny, so badass, and it's got such a following now. The film did great on the box office. The film is great itself, and it's a lovely, lovely setup to Infinity War. I said this on the podcast recently, that I'm scared this film is also going to go under people's radars because it came out a month before Infinity War, or 2 months before. Because everybody's going to look back on 2018 as the year of Infinity War, and everyone going to forget about Black Panther had its own film, his own standalone film that was great, such a good film, fast-paced, something happening, a bit different, great soundtrack, everything you need for a Marvel film. That's why Guardians is so successful, that's why Ant-Man was so successful, that's why Deadpool's so successful. It might not be part of the MCU, but Black Panther sets up Infinity War perfectly. What a great film, can't recommend it enough. Number 6, a first for me in terms of seeing this on the big screen. My number 6 is the latest Wes Anderson film, Isle of Dogs. Huge Wes Anderson fan, been able to follow him for a few years now. However, I've never seen one of his films on the big screen. I think his most recent one before this was Grand Budapest, which is where I first, you know, discovered him and stuff. So now seeing it on the big screen, I had the same sort of feeling when I first saw Tarantino on the big screen for the first time. I saw Hateful Eight in January of 2016. That kind of was like, well, this is my first Tarantino I'm seeing at the cinema. This was my first Wes Anderson at the cinema, and it's an animated film, but it's a different sort of animated film. It's like an animated film with a kick. It's about a boy who's lost his dog and just wants to go and find him, and gets the help from this group of other dogs, stray dogs, who are kind of walking about and sort of discovering their lives and their friendship and food and stuff through garbage and through a dump and that sort of thing. It's an absolute masterpiece of a film. Beautiful animation, really funny and charming and sweet. Great cast, massive cast, huge names in this film. And I kind of don't want to say too much more about it, because it's one of those films that you just have to go in and experience it. I was with two people who had never really seen or really taken notice of Wes Anderson's style of making films, and coming out of that film they were so blown away, and so they enjoyed it so much. It was kind of like a nice little win for me. Like, oh great, we've got someone else who loves Wes Anderson films and his style of filmmaking. So Isle of Dogs is great. It's almost a perfect animated film. Go check it out if you haven't already. Top 5 now. With number 5, we have indeed A Quiet Place. I made a review about this and I ranted massively because of people making noise in the cinema when the title of the film has the word quiet in it. people still felt the need to go buy nachos, to go and buy popcorn, and to sit and eat at the quiet moments of the film. But that's for another day. I don't want to get angry again. If you want to see me get angry about that, go watch my Quiet Place review a few months ago or whatever it was. But yeah, this is an absolutely perfect, in my opinion, it's a perfect horror film. And I'm not a huge horror film fan at all. I get scared very easily. I will not be seeing Hereditary or whatever it's called. No chance. However, if you've got a horror film that provides a couple of jump scares, is a little bit tense and creepy, has a weird sci-fi like Alien, and is relatable in some way with actors you like and recognise, that's a perfect horror film. And A Quiet Place has all that. Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, a real life couple as well, so the chemistry's great. This had all of that. A Quiet Place is a masterpiece of horror making. Don't know if that's a word, horror filmmaking. And I can't recommend it enough. It's done very well, got great reviews, rightfully so. Yeah, A Quiet Place is awesome. I don't like horror films and I thought it was awesome. Number 4 is a film that is near and dear to my heart, and I can't believe it's number 4. I can't believe it's not already number 1, but it's not. My number 4 is Solo, a Star Wars story. You know me, I love Star Wars more than anything. So I was so pleased this film was really good. It's such a shame it didn't do that well at the box office because people were just going, oh, I'm not going to go see that. I don't know why people didn't go see it, you know. I just think the name Star Wars is the draw, you know. And people didn't like Last Jedi, which blows my mind, and that's fine. You can not like a film, whatever. But this has got nothing to do with the story and Last Jedi and the next one coming out or whatever, you know, so you can go into this one. It could be the backlash, you know, that it's not Harrison Ford. You know, I don't want to go see Han Solo, which is nonsense because Harrison Ford wasn't going to play a younger self. Yeah, but he was young in A New Hope. That's not the point. This film is great. It's funny. It's pure Star Wars, especially the second half. I thought the first half was a bit slow. Maybe that's not why it's, you know, it's in my top 3 or whatever, but it's my number 4 because I thought the first half was a bit slow. Needed not to be. You know, Rogue One was boom, boom, boom. It's kind of like Rogue One in some way, because yes, Rogue One was, I suppose, slow in some ways, but this is one of those sort of standalone Star Wars films that kind of suffers from hay fever and suffers from having, you know, the task of starting from a beginning point and starting from the stimulus being the name and the new idea and stuff like that. But I just thought it did so well. It's just Star Wars through and through. It's funny at points. You get the charm of Chewbacca and stuff. Great new characters. Lando Calrissian, who played him again? Donald Glover. Absolutely spot on. Nailed it. And I thought the guy playing Han did really well as well. Yeah, it's an awesome film. It's Solo. It's Star Wars. It's pure Star Wars. It's my number 4. Number 3, again, don't want to spend too much time about it because I did a whole podcast about it and have a live stream, a video version of the podcast, or some of the podcast, on this channel, Cm42TV. My number 3 is Avengers Infinity War. An absolute epic, an absolute spectacle. Probably my favourite Avengers film. Talked about it loads and loads and loads, just beat this film to death. But it's so good. It's so funny. Every character means something. Set up so many things for the next film. Great action, great music. Brilliant. Loads of improvisation. Brilliant. I don't know what else to say, you know. Again, that's what I said at the start of the video. You're repeating yourself and this is must see and whatever, but this film is an epic, it's a spectacle, and it will go down as probably the, you know, the most successful film of the year, and rightfully so. So my number 3 is Avengers Infinity War. Check out the Good Bit Podcast episode 39 for a full podcast about this film. But I also did a live stream that's still available to watch on demand here on Cm42TV talking about this film. Go check that out if you want a more, you know, in-depth version of this, you know, opinions and stuff of this film. But my number 3 is Avengers Infinity War. Okay, so number 2 is a film by the name of Lady Bird. It is another Saoirse Ronan film that I said earlier on, become one of my favourite actresses. This is one of the main reasons why. I just thought this film was so beautiful. In my opinion, it is the female version of Boyhood. Boyhood is such a special film to me, and this is the female version. This is a female protagonist, and it's a coming-of-age story of a young girl who is not misunderstood, but is kind of introverted in some way. A little bit different, bit of an outcast, or whatever, who's discovering these things that is all part of growing up for the first time. You know, going out and getting drunk and dating guys and things like that. Going to college and university and trying to get accepted in higher schools and higher education. All these things that people go through at that sort of age, sort of late teens, early 20s or whatever. And she is just so good in this film. The performances from everybody, actually. The mum, I can't remember the actress's name, but the mum is fantastic, and it's so lovely. It's touching. It makes you want to go and hug everybody you love. You want to phone your family and tell them that, you know, you love them and stuff. What an amazing film, an absolute masterpiece. It's my number 2, and it's amazing that this sort of film had more of an impact on me than Infinity War or Solo or these films that I rave about all the time. This is where the real great filmmaking comes into play, the coming of age stories and stuff like that. Such a simple film, yet so effective and so beautiful. Number 2, Lady Bird. And my number 1, my favourite film of the year so far, is of course 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. This film has absolutely everything in it, and if this film is not my number 1 by the end of the year, I'll be somewhat surprised, because this is too much, this film. It's too much to handle. It has comedy, it has tension, it has love, it has breakups, it has someone getting chucked out a fucking window, it has a cast, it has acting, it has everything. This film is ridiculous. If you haven't seen this film yet, you know, I highly recommend you check it out. A lot of people haven't, actually, which is bizarre. You know, it's just, I don't know what to say. Woody Harrelson in this film, Mark Rockwell. It's a Martin McDonagh film. I just did a bit of a play of a Martin McDonagh play called A Behanding in Spokane, and I was, you know, when I was telling people about it, I was like, it's the same guy who did 3 Billboards. You look at someone like Frances McDormand, you see her being, you know, such an experienced actress that's so good and so well travelled and stuff, who is just, this has got to be her best performance ever. This is just, and she won the Oscar for it, rightfully so. Oh my god! 3 Billboards is just a masterpiece of cinema, and it is just, what an achievement to make this film. I can't say enough about it. I kind of don't want, I already made a review about it, again, part of Cinema Club in the playlist, so check that out if you want. But again, I kind of want to save my opinions and stuff until I watch it again. Already watched it twice this year. And until I get it on Blu-ray and things like that, but then also for the top 10 of the year in December or January to see where this one falls, you know. But currently this is in the running for the best film of the year and my favourite film of 2018. And that, if that isn't enough to go and check it out, you know, I don't know what will be. But it's my number 1 this, you know, in this video, and at this point in time of the year is my number 1. Will it be the same? Probably, because this film is too much. So yeah, there you go. There's my top 10 of the year so far. I apologise for my horrendous sufferings of hay fever and pollen attacks. This year's been terrible. I can hardly breathe, but it's fine. I go to Florida very soon, so hopefully I'll have some nice videos from Orlando that I can show you guys. And thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you like what you see. And there's loads more coming. There's lots of stuff I've been putting out. Been doing really well this year. If I do say so myself, I'm putting out loads of new content, so check them out if you can. I have loads of ideas. We're just getting started, let's just say that. Thank you very much, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Cm42TV. And until next time, please take care of yourselves. It's been lovely. It's been lovely talking to you.